Hi everyone, my name is William Parker and welcome back again. We're talking about doing some things with you to help you singing, even if you're a beginner or if you're just looking over some things that you've done before to kind of reinforce your singing education. Today we're actually in my stairwell because we're going to be working on vowels. That's right, vowels. So I picked a location that's a little bit more echoey, that I can be a little bit closer to the camera with my face so we could really see what we're doing. A lot of times when we sing, the biggest mistake that we make is that we try to make our words shape the same as we do when we talk. That doesn't really work for every vowel. And what can happen is it takes the clarity of the vowel and distorts it, making you sound either off pitch, out of tune, or completely distorting the words so that no one can understand what you're singing. The reason this happens is we need the sound to be traveling forward, not out to the sides. So let's go through the different vowels. We're going to go ahead and do a drill where we use the vowel in succession in different notes. Then we're going to do something where we slur, which means that we sing the beginning consonant but hold the vowel. And then we're going to mix the vowels up. So a little bit of work today. So I hope you're ready to hang with me for a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and work on vowels. So here we go. So the very first vowel that we are using is ah. Now we're going for what's called a pure vowel as opposed to a dirty vowel or a mixed vowel, because we're just looking at the basics here. So ah, instead of saying like ah, like when you talk, you need to take the jaw and drop it. Ah, ah. Try that. Ah. La. You give it a try. La. Good. So by dropping that jaw down, ah, you're projecting the ah vowel across. So me, I'm projecting it into the camera, whereas you'd be projecting it to wherever you're looking. That way it's audible. We got to be very careful not to open our jaw too much. Ah, that's the wrong sound. It's the wrong vowel. No one's going to understand you. And then the sound ah goes this way. So when you spread your lips from left to right, the sound tends to also spread left to right. All right, ah is done. Let's do the eh vowel. So, like eh in bed, eh. What you need to do is drop your jaw, take your tongue, and put it behind the bottom row of your teeth, like this. Now you're going to slightly curve your tongue and say e, sorry. Your turn. Try it again. We're avoiding going Again, we want the spread. We want to go forward. Good. Time for E. I did that wrong on purpose. Did you see what I just did? E. I call this the Cheshire Cat smile. And the reason why it's actually really bad is because one, the sound not only distorts left to right, but two, you tend to put the sound from the inside of your throat, this back reverberation area, into your nose. And we don't want that. Then you get E, and it's actually very annoying. It's a sound we don't like at all. To make the E sound properly, what you're going to do is, again, drop the jaw, tongue behind the bottom row, and really curve that tongue pretty high, almost as if the tongue is trying to reach the roof of your mouth. E. Give it a try. E. One more. E. How'd you do? You're going to notice a difference by changing that E vowel from E to E. You're going to have more power and you'll be able to do more with the sound in general. So make sure, again, we're putting that tongue behind the bottom row of the teeth and dropping the jaw. Now to the easiest, most comfortable vowel, ooh. No, I'm sorry, ooh, yeah, oh. Oh. We're going to do ooh, we're going to do oh first. My bad. So oh, all we're doing is dropping the jaw and kind of bringing the lips across. Oh, oh. It's very similar to ah, but just with closed lips. Oh. Give it a try. Oh, oh. Good. The reason why I said O is the most comfortable vowel is because in general, when you're singing, the O vowel is very safe on your vocal cords. It actually doesn't hurt you very much. So if you're having like a sore throat or something's happening where you need to do a drill to kind of work on something, but you really can't do it on O is much more comfortable, much more safe, further back in the throat. Just an easier vowel on your vocal structure. All right, now we're finally going to go do the ooh. Sorry about that earlier. Ooh. It really looks deceptive from the front. I have my lips kind of closed, ooh, but the truth is, if I turn my jaw, ooh, ooh, I'm still dropping that jaw down even though my lips are very closed. Ooh, ooh, give that a shot. Ooh. How'd you do? This one is awkward to sing when you're not used to singing it with the proper form because, again, you're used to going ooh, but there's no power in that, and it tends to do an intonation problem. The tone goes like this ooh, and we want ooh the whole way around. Now, the reason why we form these vowels this way with that drop jaw, not only to project the sound forward, but it's because we have these two things in our mouth called palates. The front is the hard palate. You probably heard that, or maybe you didn't. I know the volume is a little strange when I upload videos. But the front part of your mouth, at the roof of your mouth, is very hard. It's called the hard palate. It is mostly, yeah, it's just hard. You can't really do anything with it. That's the part where your teeth are attached. So that part doesn't really have much to do with singing. Part behind it, not quite your throat, but right behind it, is called the soft palate. The soft palate is what we're trying to use when we sing. We want to raise it so that we get a nice good sound. Think of the back of your throat as like the inside of a guitar. Have you ever looked at a guitar and you've seen that hole inside the bottom by where the strings are? Well, that leads to a resonance chamber that goes inside the guitar so that the sound waves can not only bounce but amplify. Amplify meaning become louder. That's what the back of our throat does when we lift our soft palate. Now, if you're a beginner singer, you're not going to be able to lift your soft palate on demand. You're going to need to really work on this structure, obviously by dropping the jaw. The sympathetic muscles is lifting up the back of the throat. That's how that works. Once you've practiced for a while, you'll be able to feel the actual muscle itself and be able to raise and raise and lower it on command. Now, obviously, I can't show you that because it's inside my mouth. But it is something that you'll be able to feel. So really pay attention to how you feel when you sing. If something feels good, like it feels not tight, it feels like you're getting a good sound, you feel like a good vibration coming from the sound, that's a shape you might want to replicate while you sing. Okay, so now we learned what the vowels are. We're going to take our 5-note scale. We're going to do each vowel starting on ah. We're just going to put an L in front of it for la. La 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 la. Your turn. La 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 la. Let's do it one more time. La 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 la. Did you see how much nicer that feels when you drop your jaw? It's nice. It's forward. It sounds nice and clean. All right, moving on to some of the harder vowels. The eh. We're going to say le. Try that. Le. All right. La 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 la. Your turn. La 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 la. One more time. La 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 la. Now, you're going to notice that when I'm opening and closing my mouth like that, it's really doing a lot of work on that jaw. That is kind of what happens when you're working on technique. Obviously, I don't think there's a lot of words where you would be going, la, 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 la. I don't know. You might be able to think of a couple. But so keep in mind, if you're feeling a tension in your jaw, one, you shouldn't. You should be able to stretch that jaw a little bit. Two, this is just specifically for technique work, not necessarily for performance work. All right, we're going to move on to the E vowel. E. Ready? Your turn. One more time. Now you notice that I did something that you might not be able to do yet. I used my tongue to make the L sound, even though I had it curved in that E. L tends to be something that's interesting inside vocal singing. Some people sing la la la, and some people just use their tongue. La la la. I personally think it depends on what kind of song you're singing and what your vocal style is, but I can tell you for me, it's much easier to move my tongue around than it is for me to keep opening and closing my jaw. All right, moving on to the low vowel. Lo, 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 lo. Your turn. Lo, 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 lo. One more time. Lo, 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 lo. How's it going? Hope it's sounding good. Last one is the lu vowel. Lu 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 lu. Your turn. Lu 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 lu. One more time. Lu 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 lu. Now you might be thinking, what is going on with this dude? He keeps raising his eyebrows and making a weird face at me. Well, when we're first working on singing, I highly recommend keeping your eyebrows raised. Does it do anything to the vocal structure? Not at all. But what it does do is it provides a mental cue to keep everything tall so that all the vowels are open. Now, eventually, you'll be able to do it without raising your vowels. See, it's such a habit with me now because I've been in so many choirs that I keep doing it. La 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 la. So you don't have to raise your eyebrows, but it provides, again, a really good reminder for your brain to keep everything tall. All right, let's move on. So you were able to learn what the vowels were. You were able to do a vowel drill where we did all the vowels with all the L's, right? We re-articulated it. Now we're going to do something called a slur. A slur is where you have multiple notes in a row, but you don't change what you're singing. Our pattern is we're going to jump up a fifth and walk back down. What does that sound like? La. So I jumped up a fifth, la, and then walk down. Avoid going la 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 la. We're past that. We don't want to make the extra L sound anymore. The goal, I don't know what that word is. The goal here is to drop your jaw, keep it open. We're going to actually make sure we're using this diaphragm. Hopefully you're sitting better than I am. You should be sitting up nice and tall, but I'm trying to make sure you can see my face. But make sure you're sitting up nice and tall. We're using this diaphragm muscle to push the air out through the lungs. We talked about that already. So, la is the first one. Listen. La. Try it with me. La. One more time. La. Good. Now for le. Le. Your turn. Le. One more time. Le. Good. Ready for the hard one? Li. Be very careful that you do the right shape and that you don't let the E sound take over the whole drill. Li. Try it again. Li. One more time. Li. Good. Now, E is the harshest vowel, so that sound is always going to be piercing no matter what you do. What I meant when I said let it take over the vowel is we didn't want, or take over the drill, is we didn't want to go li, which I've had several students do. All right, let's move on to o, lo. Lo. All right, sing with me. Lo. One more time. Lo. Good job. Does that sound good? That one should really feel comfortable. Now, if you are doing this either early in the morning or late at night, you might find yourself yawning after doing that one. Oh, as I said before, oh, it's very relaxing. It's a very comfortable vowel, especially if you're singing in English or Italian or any of the languages that have a pure vowel. We won't talk about that in these videos because that's more advanced, but maybe eventually down the road. Okay, let's do our ooh. This one's not as comfortable on the jaw, but it does sound very good. So loo, loo. All right, sing with me. Loo. One more time. Loo. Good. You can do those drills as many times as you like. One thing I always recommend everyone do when they're doing work on vowels vowels in particular is to record yourself while you practice so you can hear and see what you're doing here. Sometimes when we hear a distortion in our vowels, we're not sure why. That's why the video component, especially now that we live in an age where it's super easy to record videos, videotaping yourself and be able to see what you did here. I actually had some students who didn't even know they sang like this. See, haha. But after they saw that, they were like, "Oh, look at that!" They were able to put their jaw back where they needed to get the right sound for the vowels. I've even had some adults who are seasoned singers say, "Hey, every time I sing this particular vowel, it sounds screechy." Well, they found out they were doing this, and it all was because they practiced using an actual video. So please, when you practice these vowels, obviously you can't, unless you have multiple devices, which you might. I don't know. I don't know. Record yourself while you're singing so you can see what you're doing here and hear what you're doing. Okay? Okay. So we're going to move on to mixing the vowels up because unfortunately, or fortunately because it's interesting to listen to, unfortunately because it's harder to sing, words aren't one vowel unless you're singing banana. Banana is all But most of the time, words have multiple vowels in them, right? So let's go ahead and put them together. We're going to sing va, ve, vi, vo, vu. Try that. Va, ve, vi, vo, vu. Now I am over exaggerating my jaw just for this video so you can see what we're doing. Obviously, I'm going a little extreme. You can back it off just a little bit. But what we're going to do is we're going to go up and down the 5-note scale. We're going to change pitches a few times too. Starting point pitches, excuse me, a few times too. We're just going to sing up, va, ve, vi, vo, vu, down, va, ve, vi, vo, vu. The point of this is to get used to the change in the jaw so that we can switch between the vowels. Does that make sense? Each shape is slightly different. All right, here we go. This is my example. Listen. Va, ve, vi, vo, vu, va, ve, vi, vo, vu. Give it a try. Va, ve, vi, vo, vu, va, ve, vi, vo, vu. It's the same pattern going up and down. Va, ve, vi, vo, vu, va, ve, vi, vo, vu. One more time. Va, ve, vi, vo, vu, va, ve, vi, vo, vu. Good. Let's make it a little higher. Va, va, ve, vi, vo, vu, va, ve, vi, vo, vu. Sing with me. Va, ve, vi, vo, vu, va, ve, vi, vo, vu. Good. Next one. Va, va, ve, vi, vo, vu, va, ve, vi, vo, vu. Try it. Va, ve, vi, vo, vu, va, ve, vi, vo, vu. Next one. Va, ve, vi, vo, vu, va, ve, vi, vo, vu. Try it with me. Va, ve, vi, vo, vu, va, ve, vi, vo, vu. Last one. Va, ve, vi, vo, vu, va, ve, vi, vo, vu. Try it. Va, ve, vi, vo, vu, va, ve, vi, vo, vu. How did you do? This one you can do as many times as you need to within your range. If what I'm singing is too low for you, sing it higher. If what I'm singing is too high for you, sing it lower. That's perfectly fine. The point here isn't necessarily pitches per se. It's more, again, about getting the va, va, vi, vo, vu, va, va, vi, vo, vu as best you can. All right. So we've learned what the vowels are. We've learned to sing them with consonants. We've learned to slur them. We've learned to mix them up, right? Going a, e, I, o, u. So now you know what you need to do. There are plenty of other things you can do with vowels, but if you stick with these 4 drills, especially the beginning, making sure the shapes are correct, you're going to get what you need so that you're able to sing whatever you need clearly, right? The vowels are what people listen to. When you're singing and someone says they sound out of tune, they sound pitchy, it tends to be because of something that happened with the vowels. I haven't ever heard somebody say, that M was really, really off pitch. That's kind of odd. But the that's the big culprit. Ah can be very pitchy sometimes, especially if we use too much air or shaping our mouth like ah or ah. So make sure again you have those shapes. Okay, now I purposely did not do a warm up in this video because we're going to work on a secondary idea. If you didn't do a warm up when you sing, just like sometimes when you exercise, you don't necessarily do a warm up. When I go running, I don't do a warm up. Usually I stretch after. We're going to stretch our voice now. This is a cool down drill. This is the easier of the two cool down drills. We're going to hold a long, lower range note and then slowly go down in half steps until we have no more sound. The reason we're doing this is we want the low and slow vibrations to help our voice relax. Remember, all sound is vibrations, and all of that is these vocal cords here that vibrate while you sing. Well, actually, they vibrate like this while you sing. All right, so low and slow. Ah, it's going to go out of pitch while you do it because the point is low and slow. Try it with me. Now, it might sound interesting you trying it with me because I might be picking a note that isn't comfortable in your voice. Pick whichever note is comfortable. You ready? Here we go. Okay. Well, thank you again for coming to another fun video with me. If you like this content, feel free to like and subscribe and share with a friend. I will be doing all of the concepts that I normally teach when I teach voice lessons. So hang tight. Last week was breathing. This week is vowels. Who knows what next week is? Thank you again. Bye.